Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast, and we have got ourselves what should be a good one here today. It's gonna be none other than Eris, the top bot, taking on DominionDog, new upstart. Well, calling it new, I don't know if that's exactly the best thing. It's just an upstart. It's a very good bot in a relatively small amount of time that it's appeared in. And so we're going to see how well DominionDog does against Eris. It has had some notable games versus it in the past. Both these bots, though, are still receiving updates. For example, Eris is a Zerg bot that was on the top of the ladder, but then it got knocked kind of down by another one of the team's projects, Deimos. But then they updated, but then there might have been some updates, and now it's back on the very top of the ladder. Whereas, yeah, DominionDog is a very, very cool. The fact that it's a husband and wife project, and we're gonna see how these two bots are stacking up against each other on Oceanborn. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, go ahead and click that like button. If we can hit, let's set a reasonable goal today. If we can hit 50 likes on this video, that would be amazing. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more bots. And if you do want to become part of the community, join the Discord. There's actually going to be a tournament that I'll be live casting tomorrow night with Falcon Paladin. So you can check that out on Soup. We'll be pinging everyone. We'll be pinging everyone in the Discord when that's live, but 8 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Friday, tomorrow, yes. Just checking that it is indeed tomorrow. And so that's going to be cool, because that's going to be some pro Starcraft, which is very fun to watch. And now we've got that Reaper on the way for DominionDog. It has opened up with a cool couple of racks, like it tends to do. And it's just a very little thing when it comes to DominionDog. But the fact that the bot authors make 2 Reapers and then a Marine is something that I'm a big fan of. It just seems like they're like, ah, we can afford a Marine, let's build a Marine. And then they've got that on the way out. Meanwhile, the Reapers are down in the main base, starting to look for some damage. However, that Reaper almost gets pinned into the corner by the spawning pool and the geyser. Second Reaper is coming on in. That other Reaper will head on out. Fairly simple pathing on the Reapers. They just take a certain amount of damage, then they pull on out, then they go back in. More Reapers are now on the way for DominionDog, or at least a third one is. Then a command center, a third and a fourth as well are on the way, so Eris really is being tested by this Reaper harassment. The one Marine comes on in to be a hero. Looks like he is actually going to force some drones off the line, so that's kind of neat. I do wonder if the drones came off the line, just if that's like a bit of programming from Eris in as far as dealing with proxy racks, but a single Marine, it's like, just pull a few drones off the line to make sure we kill that. Now we've got Hellions on the way for DominionDog. This is where DominionDog gets its power from. It likes to go for lots of Hellions and Reapers in the early game to give it control, so then it can take very greedy expansion. So we already have that third base on the way. Meanwhile, the third of Eris is actually a very far forward base, which I find interesting. I'm not sure Eris usually takes this base. Maybe I'm wrong. It probably does. And now we've got Queens skirmishing off a creep against the Reapers. Some of the Reapers take some damage, then they pull back, and they are still dealing lots of damage to these Queens. However, they all do end up pulling back. They're all going to regroup and go back in there. So there, of course, could be a little bit more efficiency there from DominionDog, but it's fairly straightforward, good programming that has prevented any Reapers from dying so far. Now they're potentially going to get their moment, as these 2 Queens are very softened up. One goes down, a second one goes down. Eris has taken a bit of a beating here. It's like those Reapers are still softening up some more of these Queens. Meanwhile, what does Eris have to deal with this? The answer really is not much. There is a Roach Horn out. Burrow is being researched, but no Roaches have been produced yet. It's like another Queen may potentially go down, maybe even another 2, as these Reapers aren't really taking too many shots, so that is going to be a third dead Queen. The other one escapes by using that high ground vision. We've got a multiple random drones out on the map as Eris is getting its wires crossed. I think it might have been planning on pulling those into battle, or just the pathing that DominionDog cut off the second and the third base. Eris is really taking so much damage here, as DominionDog goes to town. No mining has taken place at the third base. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess these are just drones trying to make it to the third base, but they're like, it's a little hot there. Eris finally starts firing up a roach. Multiple roaches are now on the way, which can indeed be an answer to these Reapers and Hellions. There is a Raven on the way, though, for DominionDog. This is how this bot comes together very nicely. The Raven allows these Zerg, or prevents these Zerg units just from burrowing and staying alive. Now, Eris is going to have to save this hatchery at some point. A Roach does pop out actually at that hatchery. We do have DominionDog saying tag Roach Zerg late air, interestingly enough. I'm guessing that that just means that it is up against Zerg late game and it's going to play air, because there's no indication that that Eris is playing air. There is indeed a fourth base on the way up for Eris, so Eris did manage to squeeze out another base. It kind of took as much damage as it possibly could without falling apart there, which is very impressive. Those drones, they eventually did get back to mining where they needed to go. DominionDog does seem to have a fairly simple trigger as far as what makes those Reapers and Hellions go away, and the answer to that is seeing a single Roach. As soon as DominionDog saw a single Roach, it said, nope, I'm out of there. And so that made it pull back. It's now going into all these starports to the next phase of its game. There's a fourth base on the way for the Terran, so 4 bases to 4 bases. Eris already is producing Hydras, which I'll say is very interesting. I feel like that's a bit earlier, so I wonder if that's an adaptation or not, or maybe just a response to the Raven or something. But anyway, my point is that Eris is going to need these Hydras, so it's doing the correct thing, as it's potentially going to be getting killed by some Banshees here, as they are moving across, well, one's going to be moving across the map, maybe, and Cloak is on the way, so they're going to be invisible, of course, Hyperflight Rotors too, so they're going to be invisible and zoomy, and we have seen DominionDog's Banshees be rather effective, and with DominionDog, it seems to be more about the quantity rather than, well, I shouldn't say a lack of quality, but DominionDog, it really is just building tons and tons of these Banshees to overwhelm its opponent. Now that these Reapers have got support from the Banshee in the skies, they actually felt comfortable going on in. Looks like a Queen may actually go down. The Reaper does get the final shot on that. Quite a few of those Reapers did actually perish there, as their micro was a little bit questionable, but, I mean, still, they got a Queen. They poked their opponent. We've got DominionDog going into 1-1 upgrades, and when I say about quantity, it's just because DominionDog has got such an economy that it can just make so much stuff. It's got 1-1 upgrades on the way already, making multiple Banshees, multiple Vikings, lots of production up. There is some Ling harassment by Eris hitting the 4th base. That's nice. Meanwhile, the Reapers and Banshees are actually poking out on the front once again. The Banshees are doing pretty well for themselves, actually kill off a couple Hydras while all staying alive themselves. They very well may go home to get repaired as well. As a result, definitely some strong programming from the bot authors of Eris. I wonder if they did take a look at how do we deal with DominionDog, because man, this is a lot of spore crawlers we're seeing from Eris. This seems like a very anti-DominionDog strategy. So I gotta say that it's really cool that we do kind of have this arms race of the bot authors. These are 4 rather injured Banshees, so I'm not sure they're going to get too much done. Spore Crawlers can, of course, be transfused by the Queens, which is big. And so I think DominionDog may need to wait till it gets out even more Banshees. Auto Turret does kill off a couple Hydras, so Eris is still losing units. It's not on that much of a better economy than its opponent, so if these two bots keep trading, tough to say which one of them is going to come out ahead. Eris is building into Infestors, which is very important. There is a Spire about to finish up, so that's actually going to potentially allow for some Corruptors. At the same time, though, DominionDog is already making Vikings to counter any Corruptors or even Mutas, which Eris is now committing to. We'll see if those Mutas are for chasing down Banshees or whether they're going to be for some harassment. Banshees are dealing with Hydras at this location here, but the Spores, the Queens, they're doing a good job zoning this army out. Holding the line for now as DominionDog backs off once more. The Red Terran, though, is getting up a 5th base now, and we'll see if there's going to be a 6th or something sometime soon. As it really is just going to be about which bot seems to make the most stuff. It seems in the botting scene right now that Eris and DominionDog are the bots that have the greediest macro. I guess you could say Deimos as well. But yeah, these are 2 greedy boys we're watching, and with the speed mining that bots have, they have such high incomes. That is just so much money being brought in. We've got DominionDog making use of this air fleet. However, there is a beautiful fungal by Eris, catching a lot of those Banshees. Another one. This is getting a little concerning as more and more fungals get tossed on us as Banshees get softened up so much. A little bit of a supply block does hit Eris as it does lose Overseers in this, so that's going to prevent it making more stuff, but as long as Eris is on the defensive with this composition, with Spore Crawlers to back it up, I'm not sure how much ground DominionDog is going to make. DominionDog is making 5 Banshees at a time, even mixing in some Hellbats now too, which is cool. A couple Hellbats, couple Marines, still getting 2-2 upgrades on the way for those air units. Meanwhile, Eris has got 2-2 about to finish up for those ground units, so that'll really benefit the Zerg. So these two bots are really just matching each other, and it's tough to say which one's going to come out ahead, because this is such a bot composition that DominionDog uses. Mass Banshees and Vikings, like, a human can't micro those well enough, and nor really have the economy necessarily to produce this many Banshees. So it is quite incredible what DominionDog is doing. There is now even a Viper on the way though for DominionDog, for Eris. That's actually going to be a really great test to see whether DominionDog has an answer to that, and whether it'll split off Banshees if they catch a parasitic bomb. Fungal Growth did catch more of those Banshees though, so this is looking a little bit painful for DominionDog. Eris's bot authors seem to have put in quite a bit of work to countering this playstyle from DominionDog, and the Hydras are just doing very well against Banshees. This is part of the reason why we don't see mass Banshees from Terran players, because just a big ball of Hydras is kind of unassailable by the Terran with mass Banshees. Vikings in the skies, they keep shooting the Overseers, but there's so many for Eris. The bot authors have really adapted for that as well. And DominionDog is going to try and hold the line. We'll see if it can. Most of the Overseers have been killed off. If it can kill off the Overseers, then the Banshees can cloak. But there's so many more being brought in for Eris. It's making 8 Overlords at a time. And DominionDog is falling down on supply a little bit. It does seem that Eris is running out of Hydras, so while the Banshees weren't taking the best trades, they have been doing a lot of work to deal with this. Looks like DominionDog may lose the 3rd base. That's going to be painful, although the Roaches, they are just running right on by. That base may stay alive, it may die. There is a 6th base on the way up for DominionDog. There is some small Ling harassment going on though. Ling's all over the place. Eris still just pumping out as much stuff as it can. The blue Zerg really has started to, well, Zerg all over the place as there's so much creep. DominionDog's economy is being hit all over the place. That 3rd base did perish. The Banshees and Vikings have got their work cut out for them, and if I pull up the units lost tab, it is 26 dead Banshees to 41 Hydras. That is not the best ratio for a Terran player that's building Banshees. This is probably why, I mean, battle cruisers are a little bit better. We do see efficiency being gained though, because those Banshees weren't detected for a moment, so they were actually able to get some free kills on the Hydras. Then, of course, Overseers do come in though. You gotta say, really incredible programming by the bot authors of Eris, having just so many Overseers. Like, they've I'm pretty sure, pay pretty close attention to what their bot loses to, and then they adapt for it. This is why we've seen those extra Spore Crawlers get built. Why Eris is doing better against DominionDog in this case. And yeah, it looks like DominionDog may be falling apart at the seams, as the 6th base is going to go down. That 3rd base is being rebuilt, but supply-wise, there's not much for DominionDog. 5 Banshees, 2 Vikings. And I do wonder if we will maybe see DominionDog pivot into other strategies as a result of games like this, whether we'll see it, say, maybe make battle cruisers or go for stick with the ground composition that it does sometimes, because DominionDog does have a wide range of builds. Now, Lings are getting a run by for Eris once more. It's the little things like this that find success for the blue Zerg. Getting lots and lots of damage done. DominionDog has only got 100 supply left to 200 supply. Eris is giving DominionDog a bit of time, but now we're seeing the Hydra Ball comes on, and there's 5 Infestors, there's a Viper in the mix, and so many Hydras on the ground. And to deal with this many Hydras, you do need tanks or mass bio or mass BCs with upgrades. So Eris once again showing us why it's the top bot. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you watched all the way to the end of this game and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Leave a like. I think our goal was 50 for this video. leave a comment down below saying more bots, as that helps out with the YouTube algorithm. It lets YouTube know people want to see more of these bot games. And yeah, if you do want to support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member. Big thanks to everyone that does support the channel that way. It goes a long way. And yeah, DominionDog is dead. I might have to cast another couple Eris late game matches, see how it's faring against all the other late game Terran bots like Ketrock or Benbot. Because Eris late game, it really is it's the best late game, I think, it's safe to say. As Eris just, it's very difficult for bots to defeat it. One Raven has got it. 3 Ravens, pardon me, have got their work cut out for them. I do like the auto turret usage of DominionDog, as this Raven seems to have a truce with these mutas. I do wonder what's causing that. Yeah, I do like the auto turret usage of DominionDog, though. It pretty much tosses them out as soon as it possibly can. And when it comes to spell usage, I think it's better to use it than to sit on it. I find that it's a bit of a odd comparison, but in Heroes of the Storm you have an ultimate ability at your level 10, and I find if you sit on that, it's almost better just to use it more often than not. Eris versus floating structures, ready to clean everything up. DominionDog goes for the float. Ling's blocking that expansion. The last building's got to get cleaned on up. Eris is just zerging all over the place. How many creep tumors do we got? Only 129. It's a very respectable amount of creep coverage for so few creep tumors. Like, these mutas are doing their work. They're paid for something. That is getting that W. Thanks for watching.